Is your God someone that helps you? Like, God, I can't get this lug nut here. I don't know what's wrong with this tire. I could really use your help. I'm not talking about, when people that don't know God use God's name in vain when they can't get the lug nut. But seriously, asking God, in the little things, in the seemingly little things, in the everyday things. I can't get this can open, God. I don't know what's going on, but will you help me? Is your God someone that helps you? And is your God someone to believe? Do you bank on what he says? Do you really believe what his word says? Now, why do you really live the Christian life? Some people live the Christian life because they want to get to heaven. John 14 says, I go to prepare a place for you. If it weren't so, I would have told you. And where I go, you will eventually be able to come. And so he said he's going to prepare a place for us. And that's heaven. And some people focus on heaven. It's like their big thing. Like, I can't stand living here on earth, and I just wish I was, why doesn't he just take me home? I don't know, but I don't relate to that. I enjoy living this life. I love the challenges. I love the victories. There are times when I get discouraged, sure, but he's there. And Paul said, for me to live is Christ. I can witness to more people. I can spread the gospel. I can do more for the Lord. Or for me to die is gain. It's like either way. I'm cool with it. I'm happy with it. Do you live the Christian life just so you can make it to heaven? It's like fire insurance so you can avoid hell, The scriptures do say the wicked shall be turned into hell and all nations that forget God. So that might be one reason, but it's not the right reason. And neither is even to make it to heaven. Do you serve God? Do you live the Christian life to avoid the hard way of the sinner in this life? The scriptures say in Psalm 34:16 that the way of the transgressor is hard. The way of the sinner is hard. And so many people don't realize that. They trip through life making problems for themselves, and they think they're having fun because they do this and do this and do this, and then all of a sudden it piles in on them, and it's like they're wiped out, and what's going on? And so that's, that might be a reason. That's not the main reason why we live the Christian life, but to avoid the hard way of the sinner in this life, or to gain help in trouble. Psalm 34:17 says, the righteous cry, the Lord hears them and delivers them out of all their troubles. So those are reasons. They're all good reasons. But to really understand the main objective of the Christian life, we need to go all the way back to the beginning. Why was man created? You ever wonder that? You ever think about that? Why are we really here anyway? Why was man created? What was God's purpose in this whole thing? How did creation happen? And sometimes in thinking about this, I've thought, well, some people, the way they act, it's like they think God was just sort of tripping along through the universe one day and discovered a mud ball. I just happen to have a mud ball. And a bunch of maggots crawling all over this mud ball. And he decided, well, I'm feeling so magnanimous and wonderful today, I'd like to rescue these maggots. And so he, picked a maggot and he made a man out of them, and or he rescued these maggots and slimy creatures, worthless nothings, and that's how we all came to be, because he discovered us and said, I want to rescue, I want to be nice to these people. That would be a beautiful love story, but that's just not the way it happened. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Some people think that God is like a king on a throne. Let me make my throne here. And he was sitting in heaven, and of course we know there's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So they were maybe talking between themselves, and they decided, this was before us. Okay, so, it would be neat to do an experiment. Let's make some guys that sort of like us, and give them a bunch of rules. And if they can keep all those rules, then cool, we'll bring them up here, and if they can't, we'll burn them. Some people have the concept of God like a king, an earthly king that sits on the throne, and when somebody walks in the back door, you remember the story of Esther, how Esther in the Old Testament, she said, when I go into the king, now this is the queen, okay, and she's saying, when I go in under the king, if he has favor on me, then it'll all go well. If he doesn't have favor on me, I could lose my head. And that's sometimes the concept we have. Like, we're looking for God to hold out the scepter. Are you gonna let me talk to you today, God? You know, I'm in trouble right now. Can I sort of approach the throne? Sometimes people have the concept of God like he's that kind of a king, capricious, autocratic, arbitrary. Like, some people think that the rules that we come up with, or the things that God doesn't want us to do, or he does want us to do, those kind of things, that, you know, where did God get these things from? Why do we have to do these? And stuff like that. It's like he was just arbitrary in setting these things up. Well, okay, let's see, let's make this rule and this rule and this rule. No, the reality is that God's instructions and corrections in his word are for a reason. He made them all for a reason. Even the ones that we don't understand or don't currently have a grasp on, they're there for a reason. He knows, he's the manufacturer of this body, of this psyche, of this whole outfit, and he knows how to work it. He knows how to work it right. He knows how to get it out of messes and all kind of stuff. And if we just follow his word because we trust him and love him, it'll work. But he didn't do it just to test us and do an experiment and see, I wonder if these idiots, I wonder if these worms could, get a hold of this idea and maybe love me. That wasn't it. You know, it wasn't even like a mechanic who works on a car for hours and hours and hours, and he puts everything back together, takes everything apart, puts everything back together, and then he starts it up and smoke blows everywhere. Oops, I must have forgot something. It wasn't like that. God didn't start this whole thing, create us all, and plan for us. Of course, he planned for us to live for him. He wanted that, but he didn't plan for us to live for him, not expecting any other options. And then when man sinned, he said, oh, man, what do I do? Jesus, can you go down and die for him? No, it was all set up ahead of time. The answers to all these questions, the earth and the slimy mud ball and God rescuing these lowly creatures, the king on the throne, the mechanic who goofs up and stuff like that, the answer is no, no, no. God made us because he wants us. He wanted us. He made us as his prime creation. Don't believe any of this stuff that says the Mother Earth and take care of Mother Earth because Mother Earth is greater than us, and if it wasn't for Mother Earth, we wouldn't be here and stuff like that. I mean, you can take care of Mother Earth if you want. You know, that's fine with me. It's dirt to me, but we are God's prime creation, not anything else. Not Mother Earth, not dogs, not cats. Sorry, dog and cat lovers. Not, the great wilderness. Not any of that stuff. We are God's prime creation, and he made us because he loved us. And not only that, he made all this other stuff, dogs, cats, great forests, mountains, oceans, and everything else he made for us. We were God's prime creation. He loved us that much. In the first chapter of the Bible, Genesis 1:1, it says, when he wanted to make light, it says, let there be light. He went on through and he just did things by a snap of his finger, and then when it came to making man, he said, let us make man. So I get a picture of God like this. Let me get something to make. Isn't really how it happened. It's just a picture, okay? But I get a picture of God working studiously at a desk and forming a man and coming up with something, and he says, wait a minute, I can do better, and then he made woman. And man said, no, but for real, when he wanted to make light, he just did it. When he wanted to make the oceans, he just did it. When it says he wanted to bring forth man, it says, let us make or form man in our image, after our likeness. Nothing else did he say, in our image, after our likeness. He took time and worked on it. It was his prime creation. And then the scriptures tell us that Jesus, or in Revelation it says the Lamb, was slain before the foundation of the world. We were not our failure as man, sin in the garden, was not an unexpected event to God. God knew that when he created us, that we would fail.